Excel's sample feature allows you to select a range of cells that contain numbers only, not text, and be able to randomly pull out some samples within that given range. For example, I've chosen a list of the employee IDs. Of the 7 employees here, I want to randomly choose 2 of them and send them off to Hawaii, let's say as a gift or as a bonus here. Now the sample feature is an add-in. What I mean by that, if you watch the previous training video on Solver, once you installed it, because by default it's not installed, it'll be installed on the Data tab over here in the Analysis group, and there's Solver. So I want to install or add in the Data Analysis Tool Pack. When I click on it, it'll have a list of tools, and the least of which is going to be the sample feature. So to install that, I want to come over here, click on the Office logo button, down to Excel Options, click on the Add-ins category, go down and click on the Go button, and check Analysis Tool Pack, click OK. You can see it over here, Analysis Group, there's the Data Analysis. Click on it, I have a list of tools. Down here is my sampling feature. Go ahead and double click on that. It pulls up. The first thing it's going to ask you is what's the input range that you want to sample. Well, as long as the cursor is flashing within that box, I can just click and drag and select it. If not, I can click the collapsible dialog box button and click and drag again, and then expand it manually here. I don't have any labels that I want to add to this, like the IDs label or any labels over the left hand side, so I'm going to skip that. Down below it says, well, how many samplings do you want to take of that range there? Well, again, I want to just take 2 because 2 of them I want to be able to send off to Hawaii. Now there's a fault with the sampling feature here in that the sampling is done in waves. So I have 2 here, it's going to go in 2 waves. In other words, it's going to come up here in this column, and the first wave is going to come through and randomly choose a number, 448. Then the second wave is going to come in here and randomly choose a number, 448. It doesn't remember the first wave. It doesn't have a memory bank, so it could actually choose the same person twice. So that may not work for you, but let me go ahead and finish. By default, it's going to give me the results in a new worksheet, or I can select Output here and be able to choose a cell here to give me the results. I'm going to say New Worksheet and click OK. Oh, there we go, 214, 512. Now the second problem we run into is because it's only dealing with numbers, I don't know what those numbers are relating to. Because I don't know them by numbers, I can use the vertical lookup function in conjunction with this sampling feature and be able to pull in their names here. Now if you haven't watched a training video on vertical lookup, you want to watch that because I'm going to fly through this assuming that you've already watched it. So I'm going to come up here, click on the Insert function, type up here VLOOKUP, then hit the Tab key and the Go button's highlighted, hit Enter, and it finds the vertical lookup. That's highlighted. Now the OK button's highlighted, so all I have to do is hit Enter again. Brings up my vertical lookup function arguments. First of all, it says what value do I want to look up? Well, I want to look up 214 because I don't know what it is. Well, where's this table that contains this lookup number here? And all I have to do is click on the collapsible dialog box button, go back to sheet 1, and it's this range here. When I select a range, it's also referred to as a table. Now I don't have to select more than just the first column here because as you recall the vertical lookup looks in the leftmost column here, so I got to have the IDs it can look in. And then the results are going to be the last name or the second column. I can use the first column. It doesn't matter because I can still define which column I want the results to be returned as, the last name column. So I'll go ahead and expand this dialog box, come back down here where it says column index. Which column do I want to return the value in? Well, it's not the first one because that's the lookup column, but it's the last name column, which is column number 2. So just click in here, type in 2, and you can see it's already looking it up, Warner. Go ahead and click OK, and there's Warner. Great, now I just have to go in this cell, go ahead and insert the function again, but if you've already watched the training videos on absolute values and vertical lookup, that could take a while. It's just easier to copy and paste the function down below. Now if you recall from those training videos, before I copy and paste the function, I want to be able to tell it to stay within this range, okay, A4. Because anytime you copy and paste functions, as you recall in those training videos, it wants to update it, it wants to shift and move down, row by row or column by column. Let me hit the escape key. Let me show you what I mean. If I just simply hover over this lower right hand corner and click and drag the black autofill handle down and let go, sure, it brings it in the name, but look at the difference between the formula results now. This one's in cell A5 and it shifted down from A4. And I go down here, it shifted down from cell 10 to C11. So before you start copying and pasting, look, the table is always going to be the same. So I can just click before A4, hit F4 on my keyboard, because F4 actually adds the dollar signs in front of the letter A to say, look, the A is always going to be constant. It's not going to shift when I copy and paste this formula to another cell. And the row 4 is going to be constant. Also C10. Hit the F4 key on the keyboard so I can add dollar signs before both the column and the row. Then hit Enter, and when I click and drag and copy this formula down again, it keeps it constant. It never shifts from A4 to A5 or C10 to C11, C12, C13, C14. If I had hundreds of rows here, people I need to look up by using the vertical lookup. Okay, that gets beyond it because again I'm assuming you watch those training videos. And then going back to my worksheet here, I can go ahead and do more random samplings. But if that doesn't work for you, I have another alternative that may work for you, because again, it may pull out duplicates, which isn't a true sampling here, or a random sampling. Now this is going to require the random function and the advanced filter feature. Now in the advanced filter feature, I covered that in the macros training videos, so you want to watch that before you probably continue on with this training video so I don't lose you. The random function, I'm going to come down here, pick a blank cell and type in equals RAN. It starts to pull up. As long as it's highlighted here, I just have to hit the tab key on the keyboard, almost fills it in. Then I just want to shift close my parentheses. And before I continue on, let me explain the random function. It actually will randomly choose a number between 0 and 1, so we're dealing with decimals here. What I want to do is I want to say the less than, use the less than symbol and type in 0.05 or less than 5%. When I put it all together, it's going to take a random sampling of 7 people. What's 5% of 7? Well, it's just going to be one person, okay? I'm going to go ahead and hit enter. You can ignore this false results here because we're using this in conjunction with the advanced filter option. Now, the advanced filter option allows us to set our criteria, and the criteria is going to be the random sample. So let me continue on and click over here in a blank area, far away from everybody. Click on the advanced filter feature. First of all, I want to copy my results to another location, so I'll select that. Then it says, okay, what's your list range that you want to sample or filter? So I'll click on the collapsible dialog box button, and I'll click and drag, and I can select a range here. Unlike the sample feature that's only limited to just ranges that have numbers in it, this can actually go by records that include text as well. So I go ahead and select my range, click on the expandable dialog box button, and it says, where's my criteria? Well, it's over here, the random sample. Now, I can't just click and select the cell that contains the random sample. I actually have to choose the label above it and click and drag below it. Now I know the label's blank. If you recall in our earlier training videos in level 1, when you have a database, you have a header row or a column label that will label this mini database because it is a mini database. So I'm not going to go ahead and put a label up here. I'm going to leave it blank and that's fine, but I have to select both the blank space above and the actual random cell down below. You can try it without it, you'll run into errors, trust me. So I'm going to come over here, click in the copy to field, and where do I want to copy all these records to? Well, I'm just going to come over here and click in a cell down below, and then when I'm finished, I'm going to go ahead and click OK. Well, there, random sampling was less than 5%. It brought up Marge Simpson. Well, let's try that again. Come over here, click in the random sample, and let's say we want 50% or just 0.5. Hit enter. Come over here, select the range. I want to delete it. I can click there. Then go to my advanced filter feature again. Now it doesn't recall that I want to copy this to another location, so I'll select copy. And then it's got the ranges that I want here. Click OK. And there we go. 50% of 7 people is about, well, it's close to 4 people here, so it gave me 4 samplings. Now if this is tedious, by clicking on the advanced button and updating this, you may want to record a macro to help you filter through this, or just create a button over here where you can click on it to automatically filter in and a button to clear out. Again, you want to watch my macros training videos. Put 2 and 2 together and you'll be able to whip through this pretty fast if you choose to use the random function in conjunction with your filter or advanced filter feature. Thanks for watching. Hey, as a quick reminder, if you like my video, please give it a thumbs up. You can also click on me and subscribe to my channel, get notified of the latest videos, and for only $2 a month, you can have access to all my Microsoft Office training videos.